We good?
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to do the no, that's after, isn't it? The silence.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
Another favourite bit.
he hates working here so much.
Do you?
I give him so much stress.
I love the people.
just not me.
It's not the job.
Right, ready?
Yeah.
Hannah fucking Holland.
Hello.
You were the first podcast episode ever. Branded. Ever.
I know. And I looked at the pictures last night and I was like, Jesus Christ, I look different. Because it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had short hair as well.
You did have short hair. And now you're back.
I'm back, baby, and better than ever.
You are better than ever. We were just talking about the fact you did a half marathon yesterday.
I did. So I am waddling. I am like a little penguin today.
Do you mind gonna have to like launch you out of the chair when you get up?
Yeah, well, when I got here, the receptionist was like, take a seat. I went, I'm not sitting down. I won't get back up. Like I feel like how my grandma feels when she says she won't sit on anything too low. But I am in a lot of pain, yeah.
It's like when you go to the gym and you do a really hard squat session, you could, like when you go to the toilet, you're like, oh.
Do you know what? I don't do squats, but I do know like it hurts.
The DOMs.
Yeah.
The DOMs are doming.
The DOMs are doming.
Okay, so first part, we've changed the format a little bit since you were here. So first, like 10 questions are all like quick fire questions.
Oof.
Like fucking random shit.
Okay.
And then we're going to get into the main body of the podcast. Are you ready for your quick fire questions?
No, but go on.
What is the silliest nickname you've ever had?
Oh, I don't know if I should say.
You absolutely should.
Han Ho, because my name's Hannah Holland, but I do understand, yeah.
Hanho.
But it wasn't for that reason. Han Ho, yeah.
Hanho. Mine was Millie Willy.
Yeah, but you know, they're always inappropriate. Mine was at uni. Was yours at uni?
No, it's primary school.
Oh, guys. But I feel it was more innocent.
My brother, it was my birthday a few weeks ago. My brother brought my cake out in front of all my friends and he was like, happy birthday, Millie Willy. I was like, don't call me Willy, it's so mean. What is in your bag right now?
My laptop, my notebook, loads of makeup and all kinds of rubbish scattered around. Oh, and a banana.
A banana.
Potassium.
What is that from your post run?
Well, I just felt like being healthier today. I had a Papa John's last night, so I felt like balance it out.
I feel like you just ran half marathon.
No,
though.
but
It.
I did. Yeah, it was one of those ones.
What's the weirdest thing in your bag?
My teddy bear.
Show me.
No,
Please.
I don't put it on camera.
Please.
I can't. It's like,
Should we blur him out?
I'm scared. No, do you know what it is? If I don't take him everywhere with me, I think I'm going to die. So he's just
Why?
everywhere.
Was he like a childhood thing?
Yeah, but it's like I'm really superstitious anyway.
Tell me about the bear. Well, who gave you the bear?
My dad.
Aw.
When I was like a baby.
And he's your favourite bear?
I take him everywhere, yeah.
I'm a bit superstitious as well. I have.
He's really ugly, mine, so.
I've got crystals in my bag.
Do you?
If you want to see.
I want to see his crystals. I have crystals in my house. They were constantly on charge and they
This
never
is for
work.
prosperity.
Lovely.
And then I've got rose quartz hanging
Well,
on
you're
my...
wearing Hermes sandals, so it must be doing something.
and rose quartz on my bag as well.
Yeah, it's a nice bag too. So actually, maybe I should start doing it.
Give you some crystals. I'll take you to the Covent Garden astrology shop, sort you right out.
Thank you.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Harry Potter.
Fuck off.
Daniel Radcliffe. I was obsessed with him.
What, from the films? You were like...
because I was about the same age. So growing up, we were about the same age, and I just thought we were kind of destined to be together. We weren't.
Potter.
And then I went to the museum and saw his life. Like, I think he's 5'5".
Yeah, he's
I'm
tiny.
5'5.5". That half is just not going to cut it for me. So I like them just slightly taller. I'm not into like they need to be 6 foot and above. It's preferable, but
It's preferable.
it is preferable.
Do you know what percentage of the male population are above 6 foot? It's like 14%.
And I'm looking for them then. But when I found that out when I was at the Harry Potter Museum, I was a bit disappointed. So the crush kind of died.
Crush died in the lack of the inch.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's many people who can say the same thing.
I bet there is.
What's the most embarrassing outfit you've ever worn?
Oh, I've got loads. I've had some awful outfits.
Describe.
When I was younger, I was in the era of like the big fringe from here to here. And then I used to wear a blue Superman top and a little denim skirt.
Is this like Y2K?
Yeah.
Vibes.
And then like neon pink like clips. And then you'd have like long socks.
Like tube socks?
Yeah, like long socks.
I love
and
the
then,
tube sock.
Like trainers and then you go. Or that was another one.
My most embarrassing outfit, I think, was I had a lime green Juicy Couture tracksuit,
nice.
which had pink choose Juicy on the back.
Did you have juicy on the butt?
On the butt.
We like the juicy on the butt.
Ugg boots. And then
Did they slant in?
a flat cap. No, they were real.
Of course they were real. But you know the
And
thing.
then a flat cap. Like that was.
A flat cap?
Yeah.
That doesn't go.
It was like J-Lo vibes, like with the big hoops.
Oh, nice.
I look back at it and I'm like,
be
who
fair, I still like
allowed
big
you to leave the
hoops.
house?
No, do you know what? I used to also have, did you have it where you wear every orange, but then you didn't do your neck? So you'd have the line.
Yes, you'd have a line and then you'd
Yeah.
have like too light concealer under your eye.
Yeah, but then obviously I had orange eyebrows
And giving
black
Donald.
hair. So honestly, it wasn't a good time for me.
I love that you've embraced your hair though, because your hair is amazing.
It's become
like
my
what makes you
personal
you.
brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. The same as me. My hair's not blonde. Just FYI.
It's a good hair dynamic here.
I know. We're like the Spice Girls. Minus 2 people. What random skill that you have that would help you survive a zombie apocalypse? Running.
I'm not a very good runner. I do Muay Thai twice a week. So I reckon
I've seen your clip. You are fucking sick.
I reckon I could like give them a good go in.
Little.
I know, yeah.
I have to say, I live vicariously through your Instagram. I feel like, I'm like, yeah, you fucking get him, Hannah.
I'm like so exercisey now.
Yeah.
I've become a fitness gal.
But do you think that's because like your work's really stressful and it's good for your mental health, or just because it's a fitness thing?
I got into fitness because I became really like depressed, like off the back of COVID, and I got like gained a lot of weight. So I started boxing, and it kind of developed. And then I realized that actually, when I work out before I go to work, I have such a productive day and like I'm so focused. So, and then obviously they say it's like after I think 60 days, it becomes a routine. I am very vigorous on my routine. I work out 6 days a week and I do not give myself time after that.
Yeah.
And if I don't, because if I'm on shoot or if I'm away, I feel incredibly guilty, and I always try and bring my workout stuff. Like when I was on tour, for the Saving Grace tour, I was like, my Strava's cracking me up because it's literally like around Dublin, Glasgow. Like I'm literally running everywhere, trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah. I think I could. How have you managed to make that happen though? Because I feel like I struggle so much. Like I work out a lot, and it's really sporadic because mainly. I mean, I use the excuse of kids and
But I don't
business.
have kids.
I know, but I feel like that's an excuse. Do you know what I
Not
mean?
an excuse.
Because you could wake up at 5 a.m. and still work out at home, right?
Well, yeah, I wake up at 6. I work out at 6.
Do you go to a gym or do you work out at home?
No, so I don't like traditional like gyms.
Yeah.
I think it's like figuring out what you feel passionate about. So I really love reformative Pilates.
Yeah.
I really enjoy running because it clears my brain of like silly things. It reminds me actually everything's really temporary. Like that pain is temporary. You get over it, and it kind of like I try and translate into like my work life. And Muay Thai I really enjoy anyway because I like to kick the shit out of things. And that's like a different like way of doing it. But I don't go to the gym at all. I don't like doing normal gym stuff. I also don't want calluses.
Yeah, I have those.
Yeah, honestly, it's just
And
like...
if you wear gloves, you look like such a wanker. You don't want to be a glove wanker in the
If
gym.
you want to see the glasses I wore yesterday for the run, it was giving... I'm a professional runner.
I know, I love those. I want those just to like go to the gym in, because then I think people think I look like I know what I'm doing. What's your most used emoji?
So I can find out. I'm really hoping it's nothing inappropriate. It wouldn't. What do I say?
Aubergine.
It's definitely not that. It's the orange love heart.
Oh, mine's the purple love heart.
That's cute.
That's so cute. And then probably the laughing one.
Yeah, it's a laughing face after, yeah.
And then I have an octopus I use a lot.
No, I also use the smiley one with a little tear. Because when people tell me bad news.
Or the one where it's like welling up and it's like...
Oh, I don't even
like
use that
Puss
because
in
I never
Boots.
think it's that cute. I'm like, real tears.
Or like I'll say things really passag and then I'll use the one where it's like blushing. Exactly. If you could have one useless superpower, what would it be?
I want to be invisible just so I can kind of like wander around naked all day and no one would know.
I love being naked.
It would just
The
be
best.
like ideal because I can't be asked to get dressed sometimes.
I also think it's just nicer.
Also,
Like
I'd
if I'm
to
at home
spy-
alone.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to spy on people's conversations. I think it'd be so fun.
Do you know it'd be really fun if you were invisible and you came, or you were a ghost and you like died? Sorry to take it all the way back, all the way morbid. I would literally come back and haunt all my friends just for shits and gigs. Like I'd be in their house and move their shit.
I would just like make people who are mean to me regret it. Like I just think if I'm going to haunt you,
I am Hannah.
no, I'm just going to literally. I just want them to look in the mirror. They see my face and they're like, "Whoa!" And then it's like I'm gone, like in a scary
For the rest
film.
of their life.
And it's going to be like this.
What's your favourite scary film?
Oh my God, The Conjuring. I love The Conjuring series. I get so into it because I
haven't
love the
seen it.
backstory and the fact that the couple is real in real life.
haven't
And then
seen
they're
it.
dead now, but
I haven't seen it. I remember I was
So
getting
good.
babysat when I was about 8, I want to say, or 9. And I came downstairs. Do you want to build your personal brand but don't know where to start? Or you want to start posting content and have no idea what to say to attract your ideal audience? Sign up to Get Clout. It's a generative AI platform that delivers you a personal branding social content strategy and tells you exactly what to post, where to post it to get the outcomes that you want to get from your social media. Go to www.clout.com/membership to join 565 people today who are also building their personal brand. And the babysitter that was babysitting me was watching The Exorcist. And I just sat on the stairs and watched it, and I would like literally never slept well again.
There's one film I will never watch again. It's just Jeepers Creepers. That always the him loading up the bodies. No, don't, because we'll call him here. I don't like it.
If you could vacation in any movie world, where would you go?
Movie world.
Like you could go to Avatar. What the fuck's that called? That world in Avatar.
Oh, I don't. Oh,
Pandora. Thanks, Ollie.
Hogwarts.
Oh, yes.
Hogwarts.
Runnymede. No, Honeymead. What's it called? The Mead. That place. Thank you, Hogsmeade. Yeah.
Hogsmeade. No, Hogsmeade. I just feel like the school looks quite cool.
All potheads are watching this being like, you are a traitor. You didn't even know it was called.
I know, I don't really know either, but I just think that's the only world I know.
I love Harry Potter. So we have a tradition in my house with the kids where every Christmas we watch the whole, over the Christmas period, not in one go, but we watch the whole series of all the films.
That's a Christmas thing.
Yeah, and we do little movie nights. We'll have popcorn and hot chocolate. And Hendrix, my little one's only just started watching them because they're a bit scary for him before, whereas now he's realizes that the snake is not real. It's like a CGI
cute.
snake. Yeah.
Bless him. No, I do this thing where I don't watch part 1 of the ending. I only watch part 2 because I can't be asked to beat around the bush. I'm like, I know where we get to. I know how this ends. No, I know where we get to. Might as well just get to the fun part.
What's your go-to snack when no one's watching?
I like a sweet treat. So there's crisps and dip is my favourite. I like spicy Doritos with sour cream and chive dip. And I'll do it with everyone watching. I don't mind. I'm a snacker. I love this makes me sound like such a prick. I love the Torres truffle chips. Have you tried those? Oh, nice. Yeah, they get a bit sticky for me though.
Crack. And then they've just brought out a pickle flavour. Oof. Oh my God. If you like pickles.
I do like, actually, I just salivated. Nice, I do.
Yeah, they taste like pickled they are. If you like salt and vinegar, they're amazing. They're next level salt and vinegar, but pickle vinegar.
Ooh, nice.
So good. I got talked into buying them by the guy at Majestic on the weekend, and I was like, load me up, baby.
This is how we know we're different people. I buy my wine at Tesco, you buy yours at Majestic.
Yeah, but we bulk buy, right? So it's if you buy 12, you get discounts. So and also they do this thing called Parcel Series, which I Majestic, if you want to sponsor me. They do this thing called Parcel Series where you can buy wine, which is from really big winemakers, expensive winemakers like Penfolds and Night Timber and stuff, for a massive discount, but you don't know who makes it. So it will be a Margaux vintage 2018, it would be 20 quid a bottle.
That's pretty good.
But if you bought it from the winemaker of that vintage, it would be 50 quid.
Oh, that's good. I actually quite like that idea.
But you don't know what is what, so you can't go in there and be oh, can you give me the nut? They're they don't know who makes the wine. So it's basically a surprise. It's great.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Yeah, I love it. It's so, so good. And my boyfriend got me into it, and now I'm just I was obsessed. So every time we'll go in and get different stuff, or he will.
Oh my God, I love that. I want to do that. I might do
Parcel Series, Majestic. Watch out for it. What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
I'm not that spontaneous. I just do stuff and then, actually I probably am, but I think I just, I'll just make decisions and then just do it. So...
That's quite spontaneous.
Yeah, I decided to take a week off work because I was stressed, and then just took myself to Farmhouse. Or when's this coming out? Wow, in a while.
Next week.
Well, myself will know then. Well, I decided I'm going to take everyone to Dublin, so I booked that today. So we're going to Dublin for a night out to it's a team bonding thing. I love that. So I'm more like that. I don't really do spontaneous things for me. There's always a reason for it.
Yeah.
So it's more work
nice,
stuff.
Though.
I'll say I don't want to do a Christmas party, and then I'm fuck it, just do a Christmas party. Yeah. I'm that vibe.
Yeah. But I feel you always, since I've known you, you've always been someone that really takes care of your team. I feel you're ride or die for your team.
Yeah. I don't like people to be unhappy.
Yeah.
I think people deserve to be rewarded for their hard work, and it is hard.
Well, thank you for humouring me with my 11 actually, because I had another random one in there, but 11 quickfire questions. Hannah Holland. Right. So fill us in from where you've been for the last 2 years. from when you burst on the podcast. Because when we first came on the podcast, like you're not Thing, but like you were representing Demi, right? Like that was like kind of what kick-started everything. And that was where we led the conversation with, and like talking about influence and all that kind of stuff. And now you're managing some of the most famous influencers in the UK, generally in the world, some of them, including Grace.
Yes,
Big
Grace.
fan.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah. So talk me through.
So for the last 2 years, it was a bit of a shift change of, we went down a different route of kind of the talent we knew. Let me start again. We changed up our strategy as an agency of what talent best suited our skill sets. And I think one of the things I learned in talent management, you can actually do someone a disservice by signing them because you love them, but actually maybe your skill set doesn't quite match what you can do for a talent. And I think we learned that actually digital talent and taking them commercial is definitely our speciality. And it's something we really all enjoy. And creating personal brands, which is very similar to obviously what we spoke before about, is we create talent personal brands, we build them out, and then we create, you know, their dream careers with them, and everything is strategized. It's not, we've never done anything based on quick money. I have a rule, we don't do quick money, because I think it can cheapen a brand. It's the same way, you know, you look at Rolls Royce, they don't do TV ads, it cheapens their brand. And I think, you know, people take that can be taken in the wrong way. And I think it's just understanding your value. And I think what we've been really honing in on is, what is HLD? Where are we heading? What is the next 5 years for us? And, you know, this economy is getting tougher. The technology is getting quicker, faster, better. And how do we adapt to that and always stay on top of the trends and where talent's going, so we can really do, you know, a great job for our talent? And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. You know, Grace, I am so proud of Grace, because she has been she's obviously someone I directly manage, and she has done the first of a lot of things. She was the first TikToker to ever launch a podcast, and it's done incredibly
Which is amazing, by the way. Saving Grace is fucking hilarious.
I know, she's absolutely phenomenal.
She's also so the opposite of what you like traditionally think of an influencer to be. And I think that's one of the things that you guys do really well, is you take women mainly who are not the normal like cookie cutter, like airbrushed whatever. You take people who've got a bit about them, they've got a personal brand of note, and then build careers around them.
Well, with Grace, she, I think, is like she sort of set the pace of embracing yourself. You know, the first videos I ever saw of her, she didn't wear makeup, and that was at the time the opposite of what you know the industry was looking at, which was, you know, picture perfect. There wasn't really videos, and Grace built an audience base for people who love her for her, and her being so authentic, which is why I think she's got such an incredible audience. And because she also loves her audience feel like they know her because they do. What you see is what you get with Grace. And
is it really as reactive as it comes across?
Oh, she's quick as a...
Like she'll wake up and just be like, boom.
Yeah, she's quick as a button.
I love that.
She's very quick. She knows how to make something viral, and she's built up that... But her fans expect it, you know? Yeah. If someone like dies who's really massive, they're going to be like, why hasn't Grace commented on it? When Joey Essex went into Love Island, she had done the video before I'd even seen it, and I was sat next to her on a train. So I was like, what are you doing? She was like, wait. And then I saw it and I was like, he's in the villa, what the hell? I hadn't even known. And, you know, she's quick on it. She understands it. She understands what her audience want. And it's also why brands love working with her, because she resonates. She is authentic, and she is incredible. When she did Stand Up to Cancer, people really got to see her for her. She really is petrified of everything. And, you know, you can't force that. You know, she's incredible. We've also had Charlie Marlowe, who came from, you know, a TikTok digital background. She is now the voice of I Kissed a Girl, which is incredible. You know, it's incredible achievement for, you know, her direct managers. We've got Tennessee Thresher. You know, we're doing some really incredible things. We've got incredible talent, and we're kind of expanding out now on that side.
How important do you think is that authenticity piece? Because
it's huge.
Yeah, because I feel like that's something that I harp on about all the time. Like I'm like, these podcasts go out really unedited, like really raw. Like we keep in the moments when my phone goes off and like whatever, because I feel like even in this kind of format, people are so fucking bored of watching like perfectly scripted, edited with like the full production thing. Like there are other creators that own that format and do very well in that format, but it's not very authentic. And I feel like the reason why we've got traction with this podcast is because it's very like real. Like it's like speaking to a mate. Do you know what I mean? It's not like set up.
I think that is important. I think what I look for in talent and what I expect of myself, I think is two different things though. And that's something I have learned. You know, when I do a podcast, I usually edit it down just based on the fact that I'm so nervous of what people would think of me, or I should be a certain way because I represent talent. But then
why do you think that? Why, like, because I know you, like before you came on the podcast, like we met at a mutual friend's house and whatever. And like you are exactly the same. Like it's you.
I know. I think it's a hard one. I think it's because I am not a stereotypical corporate CEO, I guess. I've never been that way, but I think also I don't really put myself out there. I don't do loads of podcasts. I put pretty pictures on Instagram like that.
They are very pretty.
Thank you. But I'm not the focus of attention. I never am, and I don't want to be. You know, my talent are the focus of attention, and I think I don't know. Maybe it's that, but I think. Yeah, it's always like an in-between in my head of building my own personal brand, but also staying behind the scenes. Yeah. Not overstepping that mark, but also not people knowing me too well, where, you know, I have been known to be very outrageous in my life.
That's why I fucking love you. You're amazing. That's why we get on.
I know. We do get on very well. It is, but that's kind of, I think, where I sit between. But when we take on talent, authentic is the first thing we're looking for. Yeah. And talent who you can tell quickly, a talent who has built their brand like almost inspired by somebody else. And although they might not think people can see it, you know, we've been in this industry a long time, you can see it quickly. So we will never take someone on who's too similar to talent we already represent. I also think it does a disservice to the talent you have, does a disservice for them, and they also haven't figured out who they are yet as a talent. You know, you should be authentic to yourself.
I don't want to keep coming back to Grace, but I think she's a really good example of that, right? Like she kind of invented that format of being like lads.
I know.
And now so many
guys, guys. But you know straight away what what format is, where that's going, and it follows this pattern, and it's so engaging. You literally have 15 seconds to captivate your audience, and if you can't do that, they're switching off. It's so quick to. I do this all day. I just scroll through, and a lot of like, you know, taking your content from TikTok, putting them on Reels, etc., etc. I don't look at TikTok really. It's not my favorite place to be. I think it can be quite a negative place as well. But I do understand the importance of it, and I have a lot of young staff who keep me informed. We have a TikTok, and but I like Instagram, and I love Facebook. To be honest with you, I don't care. I scroll through the Reels, and that we find new talent in those ways as well. Yeah, and I think it's. But that's authentic to me. I'm 30 now, so, you know, I like Facebook. I'll say it proudly. I love
the only
Facebook.
person under the age of like 50 that still loves Facebook. My mum will send me stuff on Facebook. I'm like, Mum, I can't even open this. I don't even have the app on my phone.
Really?
It's interesting what you said about TikTok. I think TikTok's really negative as well. I love TikTok for two things. One, because it feeds you shit that you don't necessarily engage with, right? Like on your Instagram page, you need to be following the page, or it's kind of similar content to what you've already engaged with. And then when you go on TikTok, that For You page is so fucking random sometimes. Obviously paired with shit you've already engaged with, and paired with shit that you might like based on your previous engagement. But I like it because it enables you as a creator to reach audiences that you otherwise can't reach on Instagram in an organic way. But I think it's very difficult to build a community on TikTok because if you go on Instagram, for example, like I'll recognize people's names in your comments. Because I've commented on your content before, and like they would have also commented on that content before, so I'll recognize that name. So I think there's an easier opportunity to create kind of a community of people, other people who follow that creator and like that creator, and then you kind of have a back and forth in the comment section together, right? As an example. But on TikTok, I think it's much harder to do that because you have to. The friction that is created for you having to go and find that creator to see their latest post if it doesn't come up in your For You page is harder.
But then if you look at the TikTokers who you know and love, such as Grace, Max Belegday, Maddie Jepson, they all started in lockdown. It's kind of like there's a new app now, how quick you move on to it, because I think, you know, as well, you'll see a lot of those TikTokers, they're also going on to different fields now. They're entering the YouTube market, they're entering, you know, Instagram more. They're going in presenting, they're going via TV, they're doing radio, they're podcasting. So that platform isn't their main focus anymore. And it's because they are also, that audience has allowed them to elevate themselves and now build this bigger career and different platforms. So you're no longer looking at just one platform. You know, there was actually a really funny story though, where Grace did this video on TikTok, and it was off. We had a couples massage. We were
You and Grace.
Yeah. It was just like two of us. It wasn't weird, you know what I mean? It was just two of us together in this room. And because they were a bit creepy, these like massage places. And it was in Ibiza. We were doing a foot asylum shoot. And it was a weird massage because, you could hear them spanking you and stuff. And they were listening to an acoustic version of Ronan Keating, like Ronan Keating's album acoustic. And it was just very bizarre. We kind of just look at each other and be like, yeah, cool. But then Grace did this TikTok. You probably be able to find it. I'm in my dressing gown in the back, like towel on my head, like, and she's telling this story, it's very funny. And then she goes to me, guess who's just liked it? Channing Tatum. And I thought, that's crazy because the algorithm's taking Channing Tatum there. What's crazier is the one opportunity for Channing Tatum to ever see me or Grace is we were both makeupless talking about being spanked. And it was like, this whole... But it actually makes it crazy of like how the internet works. And you're now reaching people you could never have reached before.
Yeah.
And it's taking careers to new heights. And I think... for me, it's a bit of a ha-ha to everyone who, when I started, was like, there's no money in this.
Yeah.
And there's no, creators can't make money this way. And it was all, obviously, you knew when kind of like I first sort of started, like the first kind of few years, it was glamour girls who were making massive amounts of money. And now there's not really that much money in that industry. It's the same way there's no industry in the sex industry because there's no, OnlyFans is around. And so there's more money in a different way, but page 3 doesn't really have the same effect it once did. There's no Zoo and FHM the same way. And it's interesting to see, like, porn stars are having to go onto OnlyFans. I was talking to someone about this the other day. So I find it really fascinating how the world is developing and people are having to find different ways to make money because the way everyone's been known and used to no longer exists.
Yeah, it's been democratized, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting... I find it interesting. Every industry for me, I find quite interesting, especially in like entertainment.
The OnlyFans thing is interesting though, because it was a platform that was created for creators, right?
Yeah.
To monetize their brands off channel. So out of TikTok, out of Instagram, out of whatever. And it's become a sex worker platform.
Yeah, they like, I like to do my research and things and I like to see both sides of the argument. I really do think creators should always be able to monetize the way that they see fit. I think OnlyFans kind of got a rep for sex workers because they were the first platform to allow people to sell like porn on this platform behind a subscription wall. I think there's two sides. And there's also, in America, everyone has an OnlyFans. It's like, it's almost weird that you don't, but in the UK, we aren't that way. So, nurses have bloody OnlyFans in America. Chefs, they create chef content and the personal training. Whereas over here, I do think we kind of demonize it a little bit. I think everyone should be able to make money however they want.
Maybe I should go on OnlyFans.
I'll
sell my content.
Patreon does a lot better over here.
It does actually. I'm signed up to a few. Yeah. So I love the Shits and Gigs guys. So I'm signed up to their Patreon.
They have Patreon. Shameless plug, but Sisters in the City, who we represent, they're on Patreon. They do really well in terms of being able to connect to their audience in a way they wouldn't have been able to before. Because obviously you can have the free side of it and then there's a monetized side. And
it's quite cheap as well. So I think when you've got depending on the creator, right? But when you've got a volume of people, like I think the Shits and Gigs guys are number 16 of all accounts.
Listen, they're doing well.
Bits.
And do you know what as well? They're nice guys.
James and Fuhad doing bits.
But they're also very nice
guys.
They
seem like they are. But that's why they're likeable. It goes back to being authentic, right? It's just two blokes just chatting shit in a room for 60 minutes and they've just cut it up to micro content. And the thing is that I think that they're so relatable and so funny and so interesting is they talk about shit that we all talk about.
I know they do.
But did you see this tweet? Like that's the kind of thing. Did you see that TikTok? Like that's the kind of thing that we would talk about. So it's really, really relatable.
I think, and they also have Shits and Gigs Reacts now as well, which I think is funny because sometimes I see the videos, I see that video and I'm like, my reaction was different to that. Sometimes I'm very horrified and they're like, that's funny. I was like,
But I do think that there's something in that, right? It's that we talk a lot about it internally at Clout of like, I feel seen content. So when you create content with the intention that your audience feels seen in what you're posting, whether that be, Grace sharing a a video about how she woke up at her girlfriend's house and like she did this and last night and she's fucking embarrassed to go downstairs.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's when she went to the pub.
Yeah. Everyone can relate to that though, right? Like that is super relatable. Or like whether it's me talking about running a business and it being relatable to other founders, etc. Like if you can create that I feel seen moment in your content, you create resonance, and it's the resonance that creates fans.
It's something I speak about actually to different talent we have, and especially, you know, even talent I don't know who I'm like friendly. I have a lot of friends in the industry now who, much to the contrary, even though you're a talent manager, you don't necessarily want to poach them. They are your friends.
Yeah.
And I always talk about, you know, there's being relatable, and then there's obviously your own lifestyle, which obviously people make very good money in this industry. And I think people can lose audience by all of a sudden, you know, they're uploading Chanel bags and, you know, I'm going to Paris for the day. And I saw one of those the other day and I thought, you know, if you read the room of like, what does your audience really want? You know, if you don't mind that satire vibe, or if it is a satire vibe, then fine. But if it's actually you being dead serious, you know, a lot of people are really struggling at the moment. And I don't know if showing off the fact that you just dropped 20 grand on a Rolex is quite what, you know, the audience is looking for. And I think, you know, there is that in between of people want to see you on that journey, but also you can't rub them in people's faces because people, you know, nurses and doctors, and especially during COVID, I remember things like that being posted. I'm thinking, oh, it's just so...
Lydia Millen got in a big trouble for that, didn't she?
It's just, I think it can come across as quite distasteful.
Yeah.
Is the best way to say it. Because I think each their own again. It's whatever you're happy with. But I think understanding your audience is the first rule of thumb as a content creator.
Yeah.
Know who they are. And if you're a good talent manager, you know who they are as well. So
yeah, I never forget my friend Charlotte. Shout out Charlotte Mayer. She's amazing. She runs a PR agency called The Fitting Room. They're like 10 out of 10. She said to me, you should never have a better bag or car than your client. And that, I feel like that's the same kind of thing. Like you can't.
I don't have a better bag or car than my clients.
But that's what I mean. Like it's the same kind of thing with your audience, right? You're saying like, oh, if you've just gone and bought yourself a G-Wagon. Like, for example, Olivia Atwood, who I'm obsessed with, by the way. I just love her so much. She's the perfect balance, I think, of like authentic and curated. Like she's found that. She's struck that balance really well. She bought a G-Wagon recently, right? And she posted about it, but she did it in a really humble way. She was like, I've been working for 3 years for this car. Like, I don't want to like upset anyone, but like I'm really proud of it, and I've loved this car and da-da-da.
That's quite a humble way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, but then I saw someone else who did the same thing, and they were like, come pick up my new G-Wagon, whatever it was with me. And I was just like, ew, scroll. Like,
but I think it's hard, isn't it? Because people do have to work hard to get like a G-Wagon as a crazy
oh my God,
car
that's mad. It's like a same cost of a house.
I always kind of recommend people don't talk about money or the things they've bought, and
what you've achieved I think is a good thing to stick in, isn't it?
And a lot of my clients, you will never know what they have. You know, we might know what they have, and I'm so incredibly proud of them, and I think it's so amazing to kind of see that development. But I think
that's the right way around.
It's a nice way to do it. But if they wanted to, I would just want to make sure they did it in, you know, a very respectful way. But I also think we're so used to now social media where we feel that we have to show everyone everything we have in life for some sort of validation. And I don't think we necessarily do.
No.
You know, so I very much keep myself to myself, and my clients keep themselves to themselves. And I think it does serve people well.
I think there's a protection thing in that as well. Like if you give everything away, you like what are you keeping for yourself?
Yeah, I think like, as well, even down to like
mentally.
love lives, I think is something that I really feel like it's such a personal choice. Same way of showing your kids online, right? I know you cover your kids' faces. I know a lot of people who do. And I think it is there is no right or wrong. And it's the same way of showing your partner online or not showing your partner online. And I know, but in this day and age, I know a lot of people get quite upset if you don't show them online.
I know.
But I also know some people who absolutely love it. And I think, like I said, there's no right or wrong. It just has to feel right for you. Yeah. And I hate online for the fact that there's anonymity to being able to spew your personal opinions. We all have them for sure, but that doesn't mean we have to say them. You know, my dad always said to me, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. So I keep quiet a lot of the time, to be honest.
Unless there's no mic.
No, I really, you know, there's always, I think I've become so diplomatic in the way that I think I'm very open-minded in every sort of aspect. I really just I don't see things as black and white like that. I think, you know, there's so many different grey areas. It's like OnlyFans. I used to be very black and white with that. Now I'm very much like, no, I see every side of it. I don't think you have to stay like that. And I think, honestly, I hit 30 and I just became a different person. It was
100%.
bizarre.
It was the same thing. It's called Saturn's Return, right? So when you're 30, between the 20s, I think it's 27 and 32 or 28 and 30 or something, Saturn is at the same. This is such a bunch of weird bullshit, but I love it.
I love this shit too.
Got my crystals.
Give me that. I'd give me that one. I'll rub it.
Yeah, rub the money crystal.
Like put it here on my temple.
Yeah, I bought one for my boyfriend as well, and he was like, "Don't really believe in this shit, but thanks, babe."
But you know what? If it means I find 20 quid on the floor, then fine. Here we go.
Yeah, right. But when Saturn returns, it means that Saturn's in exactly the same point in the sky as was when you were born, and that normally is when you have a huge transformation in your life. And almost everyone I've ever spoken to has had some kind of transformation between the ages of 28 and 32. Like you have this like big way, you have a new perspective. Quite often you leave the partner you're with. Like I did. I left my ex-husband during that time. Like decided to start a business, quit my job. Like, and so many people have that in that period of time.
So I did something like that at 30, like say 29, 30. I kind of, I don't know, it felt like I woke up one day, I just felt really different on things. You know, I felt like I always apologized for any decision I made, or I felt like I didn't even like telling people I was a CEO for a long time. I felt really embarrassed.
Well, I remember having that conversation with you and I were like, oh, we're founders. Like we won't say CEO or MD.
No, I do tell people CEO now. I feel quite
As you
proud
fucking
of it.
should. But you are the CEO. You have a whole team. You've got a board. You like, you know what I mean? Like that's your role.
It's important to be humbled though, because my dad, when I told him, I said, "Dad, I'm a CEO now," and he went, "Well, it's not much of a promotion because you promoted yourself." I was like,
nothing will keep you humble quite like your family.
I was like this. I did promote myself, but someone Ella got promoted to MD. He was like, "What a great day for Ella." I was like, "Cool." But I think, you know, it's important to be humbled. Like my friend, I have had the same friends for 20, 30 years, right? And I think they do care what I do. That's the wrong terminology. But they're not fazed by it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't talk about work when I'm out on a weekend. I love that. Like, I love the fact that they just don't
They're not bothered about it.
Yeah, they don't sit and ask me if something's true or not. Like they just, you know, they just sort of let me live, and they're like, if you want to talk about something, you can talk about it. If you don't.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you would never sit there and talk about work if you were in any other profession.
Imagine me going like,
if you're a nurse.
Is Thames Water really having a hard time this week? You just wouldn't. Like, you wouldn't say it. It's just because obviously...
Did NHS really spend £16 on a light bulb?
Did you really get the promotion the NHS said you did? Like, because it has
it's not adding up.
It's, you know, you just wouldn't, I think. But that's where I know... They're saying with your job, our jobs are interesting. They are really interesting,
and also we're building in public, right? Like we're out there. Like I know you find, I think you do really strike that balance of like staying behind the scenes as well as like promoting yourself. Like you're really good on LinkedIn. I remember when we first met, I was like, you need to be on LinkedIn. You were like, tell me. I was like, you do this. I
like the little AI option that gives you at the bottom now.
No, Hannah.
You know, only reason why I don't really use it often, but every now and again, if I can't get a sentence to sound how my head says it. Mm-hmm. I'm not good at that. So it won't be for the whole thing, because I've been really working on how I write things. And
I'm going to give you some tips.
Thank you. I watch your tips anyway on socials.
Thanks, babe.
But
always such a big fan. I love that you're like supportive of other women.
Yeah, I think what you've done is incredible. I remember when you started Clout.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you. But I remember when you started Clout, it was like, you know, it was just you kind of like pushing it. And
literally,
I don't think people
was like, did everything.
But I think people see you now and they just, you know, they just assume it just happened. And it doesn't happen. You know, it could have gone one of two ways. Same way with HLD. It could have
and still might. That. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's.
We don't put that into the universe. Take that out.
Give me that crystal.
Go quickly, rub it. Rub it. We don't put that into the universe. I don't believe that. I really believe in, you know, speaking positively.
No, I agree. Thoughts are very powerful things. I think if you believe it's going to happen, it will. It's funny. My grandma always says to me, you always land on your feet. And I'm like, yeah, because I know it will. Like you're
resilient. That's why.
Because I never see, even when things are fucked, right? Like if we, like months we've not made profit or whatever. By the way, we've never had investment, and same as you, right? 100% owned by my business. I've never even put capital in, right? Everything we've made has been organic profit from work we've done. But even on months when we've not made money, I'm like, we'll figure it out. I know we will. And like, I know that sounds very silly, but like when you believe it will, you'll find a way to do it. Like you just have to know that it's possible. Yeah. But I think the thing is, when people hear people like say that, they're like, oh yeah, whatever, like easy for you to say. It's like, well, no, like if you think it won't happen, it won't. If you think it will happen, it will. You just have to figure it out.
I was showing Chloe, shout out Chloe over there, the other day,
Emily Blair Media.
Emily Blair Media.
If you need for all your PR needs.
I was showing Chloe the other day that I only really just became really grateful that I got Forbes Head of 30. And it was only at the time I got it, that's all I'd ever really wanted. And I got it, I felt very numb to it. I felt like I was still going through this weird thing of like, it doesn't ever feel enough. But then I was showing Chloe the Facebook status I did in 2019 when I launched HLD. And it says at the bottom, I'll find it, I'll send it to you. And it literally says, now I'm going to time to work my little butt off to make Forbes Set under 30. And that was in 2019.
I remember one of the first things you said to me on the podcast was, I was like, so what's the next for you? And you were like, oh, I'd love to hit Forbes 30 under 30. And when you made it, I messaged you being like, I know. With you.
I had
I'm so happy for you.
Some of my ex-staff even messaged me saying, I know how much this means to you. And I thought it was really nice. And but at the time, I know how I'd feel if I hadn't have got it. So some people, it really isn't a big deal. But I've been working towards this, there's not loads of achievements in what I do in terms of like for yourself personally. Every achievement I live through is my clients.
Yeah. And it's a pretty thankless job being a manager.
Sometimes, but I think it depends who you manage.
Well, I mean like in the wider sense, right? I'm sure your guys that you guys manage are probably amazing and like they're all wonderful people, right? But I think when you work in the kind of industries that we work in, it is a really thankless job because our jobs is to make other people look great.
Oh, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? So they get the front end accolades. But
I was talking to my MD about this the other day when we do like performance reviews of staff. And I'm like, there's no one who gives us performance reviews. We have to gather it just from feedback of like when people are unhappy.
Yeah.
And, when people aren't moaning about something, it means you're doing a great job. And I found that quite a difficult thing to get my head around the fact that, I also know that some people would be nervous to maybe say to me, I don't think the way you've done this is correct because... especially if you're a 21-year-old who's working for us and, I know that I'm maybe not the most timid of people to come up to. So it is a bit of I think sometimes I can feel a bit like I wish I could look in the mirror and see myself from the outside and see, okay, maybe I'd change that. Because sometimes I look back and I go, that was a bad decision. But then I go, hindsight is a beautiful thing. I say that all the time.
Do you know what's funny? I had so last year was the best year I've ever had professionally, like revenue-wise, growth-wise, whatever. But the worst year I had personally, like hands down.
They don't balance.
No, ever. But then this year I'm having the best year I've ever had personally. And like, business is nowhere near where it was last year. And I think there's something in that. Like, I think people think you can have it all, but you can, just not all at once. Like, it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, you need to figure it out. But to your point about like the you being the leader and like no one giving you that feedback piece, I really struggled last year with like my development. I was like, where am I getting my development from? Because my job is to develop all these people, but like I've been doing the same shit now for 4 years.
Yeah.
How do you find like ensuring that you're doing stuff that helps you grow as an individual and you kind of, perform at your best? Because I think it can be really easy to just get into the motions of running a business, which is not why you start the business in the first place, right? You start the business to talent manage.
Yeah, and I think, I've had a little midlife crisis when I've gone, I just don't even feel like CEO is the right role for me. I just want to be a talent manager and just manage talent because I know I'm good at it and I love it. And then on the other side, I'm like, no, but this was, my little brainchild, and but it's grown in a way that I never thought it would have. But I did. This is what's weird. I did know that it had the capacity to be this incredible agency that really grew and took off. But when it happens, you kind of go, fucking hell, like and it's because it's a weird one because obviously it's us growing careers. So obviously you have to be fundamentally good at being a talent manager to grow the business as well. And I think the one thing that I'm very lucky with is I have a very straight talking senior team and they will call me out on anything. Like if they don't think I've made the right decision, if I've jumped to conclusions, they're not scared to tell me off. And I think that's important. It's kind of like having friends who aren't scared to tell you if you made the wrong life decision or maybe, you've acted in a way that they didn't think was appropriate. I think that's exactly the same for me. I think having a yes team, and I see a lot of people with yes teams in terms of, I've met different CEOs, and I've met, all those people. That's not helpful. No. Having someone who says to you, that was the wrong call, You know, have a little look at that before you really call that out, because that's why we have senior meetings every single week. It's like, I actually came from one, and we go through, you know, what did last week look like? What did the month before look like? You know, actually, maybe that was the wrong call. And that's how we change our processes, you know, even down to how we staff book holidays. And I think it's all about being self-reflexive. And I think that's how, you know, I've developed, because, you know, I am a very hot-headed person, and I don't think that surprises you. Like, I am very quick to...
It's part of the reason why the business has been a success, right? It's because you're agile.
Yeah, but at the same time, I have to chill out sometimes and be able to have that look. And I think I'm getting better at it. You know, I'm a very defensive person as well, and I've slowly got better at it. Like, listen, 2 years ago, I was a very different person to how I am now, but I still have self-growth on that side that I am constantly trying to develop.
But I think that is the trajectory, right? Like, if you want to grow in any capacity in life, whether that be in relationships, in your career or business, whatever, I think the goal should be, and I said this to my boyfriend, to your point about earlier about like showing your relationships online and stuff, I don't think I would ever
I didn't even know you had a boyfriend, by the way. When you said it earlier, I didn't want to go like, since when? But I didn't
cut
know.
the camera. What?
Excuse me.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't post it online, because it's not like, to your point about earlier about like, we were saying about keeping stuff back. Like, I share 10% of my life online. Yeah. And I choose what I share. It's not that it's inauthentic. It is 100% me. It's just not 100% of me. If that makes sense.
100%. I think, but that you've got that, you've spun that right. That's exactly how it should be. You shouldn't share your whole world, because it's like I always think of online like going to war slightly, right? You're opening yourself up to criticism. You're opening yourself up to opinions that, you know, realistically, do they matter? Do you know Carol from fucking Birmingham? No, you do not. Like, I think, let's back to the point we were saying about turning 30. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. No. And it's taken a long time. And I really wish that I could tell like my 25-year-old self who cared what everyone thought of my appearance and, you know, like how I acted. And, you know, I felt like I was always trying to like fit in. But now I'm like, you know, if you don't like me, you don't like me. That's fair enough. Like, but I also would never want to open myself up where people felt that they could tell me that openly, because I'm just not built that way, and I get that too. So I really, really respect creators who and anyone who puts themselves out online. And I was talking to Chloe about this the other day, because it was something that I really feel passionate about, is when people are trying to build up their profile online, everyone will mock you until you've made it. Yeah. And that frustrates me when people really like kind of like make fun or be like, oh my God, have you seen this? Fine. But when they hit 1 million followers, I expect you to have that exact same opinion, because it's very brave and very courageous to really put yourself out there online, knowing that the general public and the public court of opinion can be quite a harsh one, regardless of whether you're the nicest person in the world. I always think Mother Teresa would absolutely get slated online still, because no matter what, people will still have something to say about it. And for me, I feel so passionate about the creator industry and protecting creators in that way, which is why I hate Tattle Life. I hate hearing from my talent, oh, I heard this on Tattle Life. I'm like, but it's not true.
But also, who the hell reads that? Like, they're going to say this.
I know the people who read it.
I know, but like, that, like, you think about the grand scheme of things. Like, do you really fucking care?
Well, the thing is, it's like, when we die, we all die, right, at some point, whether we like it or not. We are all going to deteriorate into... Take your skin off. We are all made of the same blood and the same muscles and the same bones, right? And your money doesn't matter. Nothing matters in this world at all.
You're just earth feed.
But when I'm dead, am I gonna think about the people who hated me? I'm gonna think about the people who loved me. And we spend so long focused on the people who dislike us and the negative things about ourselves that we forget to love ourselves in that moment. I'm never gonna be younger than this moment. So I'm gonna have to rate myself for it, because otherwise, you know, in 20 years' time when I'm like 50, I'm going, oh, I wish I just loved myself a bit more because I was just so pretty. Because my mum says that all the time, and I just think, you're still beautiful. Like, you don't need to look back. Or the only thing I will say I do to myself is I look back and go, God, I remember when I thought I was fat. Now I'm actually fat. Like, that's fucking shit, innit? Because I was skinny. So we can always live like that. But living in the moment is like what I'm trying to aim for right now. But
I always say, don't waste the pretty. And I don't mean that physically. I mean, like, don't waste your life thinking about what could have been or what will be, and just like, don't waste today. Like, today.
You know, although today is a bit of a bleak day, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like, this is a really good example, and this is going to make me sound like a navel-gazing twat, but I woke up this morning, I feel like shit on my period. Like I had like 2 hours sleep. I honestly hate it. But I came in, I was like, I was so looking forward to seeing you. And I was like, that's going to be the highlight of my week, having this conversation. So even though you could sit there and be like, oh, I don't want to do this and like go through like, or you can just be like, this is going to be a great day and just crack on.
I think it honestly it's all to do with mindset. And I look at all my reels on Facebook and Instagram, and people always talk about, if something bad happens, the reason the rest of your day is bad because you're such a negative mindset that
100%.
actually you can't see the good in anything. But
it's like when one bad thing happens and then your whole day's like loads of things bad happen. It's because you're in that. Have you seen that video? It was done by a French producer, and this man like bumps into this woman, and he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then he has this black ball. And then he carries this black ball around with him. And then every time he has a negative interaction with anyone, they like multiply. And then his apartment ends up like with thousands of black balls in there. And there's just thousands of black balls all over Paris, basically. And then they do an alternate version, which is the same thing. He bumps into that person and he goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then there's like an orange ball. And then there's orange balls multiple. It's like basically like your energy lives and dies, however which way you spend it, whether it's negative or positive.
No, I agree with that. But I also think sometimes, especially, on the time of the month, it's fine to be in self-pity for the day. Like, I
mean, I self-pitied all over a packet of Haribo Tank Plastics last night.
Listen, sometimes watching like a sad film and just feeling a bit sorry for yourself is fine. But then it's like, right, when you leave the house, get your shit together.
Put your makeup on.
But that's kind of like, that's why I did the half marathon yesterday, was to set myself like a personal task, like a personal challenge. It's so easy to forget about your personal life when you're working so hard, and that was like the one thing I aimed towards. I wanted to do a marathon. Doing the half made me realise I'm not there because I really did struggle the last 5k.
But you did it.
But then it's it's like those bucket list things of when I was looking at, like, there was a couple of old people on the sides like of the race, and I thought, at some point I'm going to be old watching that side, and my body's not going to work the same way it once does. So I should test myself now, because I might regret that one day. Life isn't a given. Being mobile and being able to even Alzheimer's runs in my family. I might not even have my mind one day. We're praying it stays. But those things aren't a given, and we have to really appreciate that now of, right, I'm healthy, I'm able to move, and I am loved. And they're the three fundamental things. And, my business is doing incredibly well. I'm surrounded by incredible people, and I manage the most incredible people. Could I ask for more right in this second? Absolutely not.
How do you, so just to go back to I'm obsessed with that, what you've just said, by the way. I think that's like, it's so poignant. How do you manage to set business goals, but also set your own goals as well? Because I feel like it can be really hard and really easy to fall into the trap of like business that and because you're doing often the same things year in, year out when you are running your own business, because the pursuit of growth does look like the same coloured steps basically the whole way up, even if it's incrementally just further along the track. How do you stay motivated? Because I found like I lose motivation when I'm not achieving things that I want to do.
I think mine was like a mindset I changed 2 years ago, because I was a lot bigger. Like I had gained a lot of weight in COVID. I would say my mental health.
I think that was everyone. I think everyone either did the fitness or they did the Aperol spritz at 3 p.m.
No, babe, are you joking? I was doing the champagne champagne. I did not have that money. I had Prosecco from like midday. I'd be going to bed at like 6 p.m. because I was so pissed. I just went down this weird spiral, and I think it took me a long time to get out. I remember when I came out of COVID, none of my jeans fit me anymore. I had to wear tracksuit bottoms every day. And I really, my self-esteem was low. So I just focused everything on work. And I anything bad that happens in my life, that's where I focus, because it's, it's my happy place. I absolutely love watching my talent achieve their dreams, and doing, especially when they're such kind people. And, being a talent manager isn't just, creating job opportunities. It is being their confidant. It is working with them. Grace is genuinely one of my closest friends, and so it's a completely different relationship anyway, but it's also supporting my talent managers and all that side of things. So I think for me, I wake up at like 6, at the moment 5, but that's only because I got myself into a weird habit for training for the half marathon. I do want to get back to 6, and when I work out is when I kind of set myself these goals. And then my bath time, I
remember talking about your bath time on the last podcast.
It hasn't changed.
We love a bath.
We love a bath. I love a bath. I hate people who interrupt my bath time. And I don't respect people
TV.
I don't respect people who interrupt my bath time, to be honest. And usually if you get a voice, I don't mind. If I chose to voice note you back, I usually go, I'm really sorry, I am in the bath. And it's like, it's because I'm in a good mindset. But I have like my notes page and I just like write like my ideas that come to my head. But now they've become more, all my personal goals are more fitness related. I don't have personal goals to achieve things, you know, in maybe the business side, growing the business, where the next steps of the business, but not for me personally. It's more the business. But then also I'll get ideas for Grace and I'll just message them to Grace. And, you know, for me, my career is based on other people's absolutely flying. But I've always wanted that. And I've always known that's kind of where I wanted to be sat. So for me, mine are more pushing my body to places that never could be because I couldn't run before. I wouldn't even go to the gym. I could run 10 minutes on a treadmill and then I'd be like, right, I'm out. Whereas now it's like I can do a half marathon and I've proved to myself that I can do it and I can push my mind to places and push my body to a place where I couldn't do it 2 years ago. You know, and health for me is really important at the moment. I'm really hoping that doesn't change.
But I feel like once you get into it, you're into it, right? Like I'm just like, before I used to like really have to psych myself up to go to the gym or exercise, whereas now I'm like, it's part of, I love it. Like if I don't go is when I feel like shit, not if I do go.
I feel guilty if I don't go, but that's more because I know the long-term effects of where my mindset's going to go and how I feel about myself or how I feel when I get to work. You know, I never dread going to work, and I think it's because my mindset's so clear. And it's even if there's like problems or anything like that, and even if I was ever hit with like the most unfixable problem, I would say, you know, are they dead? No, it's fixable.
Everything's figureoutable.
Everything is figureoutable, and I think, you know, there's no point panicking. You know, I always say if I'm not panicked, you shouldn't be panicked, especially to my team. When I start to panic, I'm a bit like, fuck. But, you know, we've not had situations like that. So it's keeping everything, you know, it is a job. It is people's careers, it's people's lives. And I know I take my job very, very seriously. And I also know some people who maybe, you know, they do like to finish at 6 p.m. and they like to switch off. So, you know, when people come to us, I say, you know, that's not necessarily the same thing we have here because, you know, you might get a message.
It's always on,
Yeah, like you might get a message at 9 p.m. that actually you really need to reply to. But also at the same time, we're really lucky. A lot of our clients are very respectful. No one messages me on the weekends, which is great. Like sometimes, maybe the senior team. But, you know, I would say Sunday is like my day of rest. I try and stay off my phone completely.
Yeah, I have a Friday evening, Saturday rule. Sunday's the day that I don't mind going back in, but like Friday evening, Saturday, I won't.
Saturday evening, no one should message me anyway because I'm probably pissed, and that's never a good sign.
Have you had any like mad shit that you've had to overcome in the business?
Yeah, for sure. I think you know, when we were restructuring the talent, that was a really tough time because we kind of had a huge change up in the roster and we weren't sure which way it was going to go. It's just like maybe 3 years ago.
How did you decide like why you need, like what was the thought process behind changing that?
The industry was changing. It felt like we couldn't do the service that we needed to do. And it was me and Ella sat there and we were like, fuck, like we were going to sink or swim at this point because we couldn't figure out quite where we were heading. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to rebrand. And we did. And that's where our logo now came from. And we sort of sat there with a drink in hand and sort of planned out how this company was going to work and how it was going to go forward. And the whole we put, you know, the last remaining of our profits into this launch party and the rebrand. And we were like, see, we're going to work really, really well. It's not. And, you know, there were some scary days and it did work out. And we trusted our guts on talent that weren't, you know, necessarily ones that we thought would work. And we felt that we were good enough at our jobs to we could commercialize and show the industry and show brands why that talent is the right fit for their business. We worked really hard on how our pitch technique was and every single aspect. You know, like I said, we don't do quick money. So we also wanted to stick to our guns on that and be like, well, we're not going to accept that air freshener ad for $2,000. Like that's not,
I love that.
It doesn't fit with what we're doing. It's
long-term greedy.
Yeah. You know, it's like we wanted to be the luxury of talent management. We wanted to be, you know, boutique, but feel so small but feel powerful enough that we made an impact in this industry. And I think we've really achieved that. And I think that's from sticking to our guns. And, I was on Grace's podcast and we spoke about, she got offered a huge deal, huge life-changing money, didn't fit. And it was hurtful for all of us to say no, but we knew that money comes back around tenfold if you follow the strategy. And I speak about it with her on there, and she was just like, well, I think the figure I said was actually wrong. It was more than that, because when I watched it back, I was like, shit, what was that deal? And Ella was like, yeah, you were off. I was like, fuck. But and now I think it's really paid off, because it would have put her in a bit of a weird position in terms of being stuck in a contract. And, so you have to follow your gut. Just because it's been offered doesn't mean you should take it. It has to align.
It's funny because so many business owners go, look at the data, look at the data, look at the data. And so many people say that as well. But I have found every time I've not followed my gut is when I've made the wrong decision.
Oh, yeah. I had it with, so funny enough, our office, so our new office, between two, and everyone loved this other office, and my gut, I couldn't sleep at night over it. It was just stressing me out. It was more expensive as well, and it wasn't even the money side of it. It just didn't feel right. And so the next day I just called everyone. I was like, I know everyone loves it, but I'm putting my foot down on this. It just doesn't feel right. Hindsight, I'm like, I don't know if I love my office, but we did get broken into, so that was great.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many fucking things that happen that
I was like, fuck's.
Yeah. Has there been any times that you haven't followed your gut and it's been like you knew immediately it was the wrong decision?
Loads. I can't even think of one like specific one. Actually, no. There's maybe been a couple of times where my gut instinct was we should have managed someone and we didn't go with that, and because it didn't align at the time, and I was like, fuck, like we've really fucked that decision. Or we've taken on talent that maybe. My gut was saying maybe we don't have the right resources right now for it, and it hasn't worked out. And I'm like, fucking hell, I should just follow my gut on that. I think, but like I said, hindsight is a beautiful thing. There's no point living in regret. You live and you learn. It's on to the next thing. And it's, I could sit in self-pity all I want, but, it's not going to
help you make the next meal, is it?
Yeah, but it's not going to change what happened.
Yeah,
what's happened has happened. And all I can do is learn, grow, and move forward and hope that it doesn't happen again. But we are human.
It's funny because that's why I brought up my boyfriend. That you're eventually like, what? Do you have a boyfriend?
She's in love.
He was a little bit.
She's in love.
It reminded me of him because I said to him, like, we had to do a restructure this year as well, which has like pained me massively. We've gone from a team of 15 to a team of 7.
Wow, that is a big restructure.
Yeah, really, really big restructure. And I was like, how? Because he's run loads of businesses, right? Like he's been there, done that, got the t-shirt like a million times. And I was saying like, doing this particular thing doesn't feel right to me. Like I want to do this. And he was like, okay. And he was like, why do you want to do that? And I was like, because I want to be a better leader than I was last year. Because I don't think I was a good leader last year. And he was like, that should be your goal every day. Like, can you be better, like managing your team than you were last year? And if you hit that, then you're golden. Have
you heard the 1% rule? Like trying to be better 1% every day.
Yeah, the gains, yeah.
But then, sometimes I do wake up and think, I might just retract 2% today because I can't be fucking arsed.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
But it goes back to what we were saying about you can't win at work and at home 100% all the time.
Oh, I never win at home, ever. It's always the thing I let myself down on. I always piss someone off and I just think, ugh. Like my friends get upset with me because my phone, I have 2 phones as well.
I've just got 2 phones and it's changed my life.
Really? I find it harder, but...
Because it helps me because I can leave my work phone in another room and still be contactable by like my kids or like whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between in terms of like I have different chats on different phones. But the one thing I have learned to do is put my friends and family into archived. And it's not, no, because it comes up with I can know straight away if someone important has messaged me. And
can't you pin chats to the top?
I'm not doing that. There's too many to pin. I'm just going to archive it all. And I remember my friend was like, that's so
If I love
rude.
you, I will archive you.
If you're in archived, I love you. If you're not, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? So take it as you will. But most people, that's the opposite.
I leave people on red all the time because I'll read it and then go, I'll respond to you another time, and I mark it as unread and then I just forget.
No, I leave people on red because I read it, think I've replied in my head,
and then forget to.
It's like this morning, I was so deep in sleep. I had a dream that I'd washed my hair, and I was so upset when I woke up and it was still like greasy. I was like, great.
I had to dry shampoo this morning as well.
I did wash my hair, but then the humidity, it was curly earlier.
I didn't have time. My hair takes like an hour and a half to wash and dry.
Takes a long time.
Fuck that for a laugh.
No, mine does take a long time.
What's the wildest thing you've ever seen? Because I feel like your industry is like mad. Like I bet you've been to some mental parties and seen some mad shit. Even like pre-HLD days.
Oh, when I worked at 66, they were the crazy days. I wouldn't say as much now because I think everyone holds themselves together quite well. And I'm not a party girl, by the way. Like maybe back at, like when I worked at 66, maybe I was a bit more like I'd go to.
I feel like your ideal night's like a bath and you like walk your dogs. Like sit home, snuggle with your dogs.
Yeah, oh my God, I love one of my dogs is called Cash Money Bitches.
I love that.
And he sleeps like next to me. And I don't care what people say because I know people hate that. But I live on my own and he makes me feel safe. So and he's a big like Labrador, he's beautiful. And I just think, I just love that.
Cash Money Bitches.
Cash Money Bitches, yeah. The other names, my other two don't have interesting names.
Like, I don't think I know Cash Money Bitches.
Oh my God, yeah, Cash Money. I love him. He's a black Labrador with a white chest and a white paw because he's Springador, you see. Aww. So he's Bailey, my eldest, his nephew.
That's really good. I love that. Bailey, my eldest.
My eldest. And then I have a little rescue that I've got and he's called Loki and he really is a devil, to be honest. He's really, really cute, but he is a devil and I was really proud to rescue him like 2 years ago. And then I can't remember the question. What was it?
Oh, I don't even remember. What do you do with the dogs when you're at work? Do you take them with you?
No, so my PA works from my house 3 days a week. So she, it's more convenient. She doesn't love coming to London anyway. So she'll sit with the dogs. And then I have doggy daycare as well, who do Thursday, Friday. And they go to this big field and play around, which is cute.
That sounds like the best day out ever.
It is, I think. They're always tired when I get home and I think, divine. No, that was it, the craziest thing. I think, 66, I was so young as well, so I really didn't experience it like that. Like, I would have like 2 drinks, I wasn't a drinker. So I saw a lot of crazy stuff and it was, at 66, it was a lot of porn stars and my mind got opened up quickly. When I worked at 66, we had the version of Babe Station they had at the back. And some of those girls are the nicest girls you'll ever meet. And, it was just these juxtaposition lives. So I just feel like I don't know. I saw crazy shit, but it was not. It was funny. And it was never like unsafe.
Yeah.
But no, now not so much. I literally go home like, I might have a couple of drinks after work and that's about it. I don't really do anything on the weekends.
The wildness.
The wildness is gone.
No, my wild nights are like steak and red wine. I'm like, yes. That's like
I love red wine.
It's the best.
But at Christmas time.
Just at Christmas time.
Do you know I had a red wine on Saturday and it was delicious, but I realised I had 2 glasses and I realised how drunk it makes you feel. But 2 glasses of white won't do that. And I was like, the red wine.
I have the opposite. Red wine for me is like great. I can't drink white.
To it though.
Yeah,
I don't drink
maybe
it
I just drink too much.
Well, me and Grace have a saying: if you're going to drink 2 glasses, you might as well have a bottle.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
So that's kind of what we look at each other like.
Where do you think? Because I feel like your business, like HLD, and like what you do specifically is you take interesting, cool people who've got a story to share and build a career around them, and you kind of help them. Like Christiana works hard, but HLD works harder. Vibes.
There we go.
You build a career around them, like through building their personal brand and like getting them with brand collabs and brand partnerships and all that kind of stuff. Where do you think that whole creator industry is going? Because I feel like we've gone past the influencer era of like post a picture, sell loads of shit. Like to me, that doesn't work anymore. There needs to be something more.
I think, we talk about it a lot. AI, I think, is going to have an impact on this business. And I'm still not sure which way because, there's big influencers who are working with big designer brands and they do not exist. They are AI influencers, right?
Wow.
And I think that's a really scary way. And I think, that's... people shouldn't buy into something that doesn't exist because we're always talking about body image and all these different things, right? So how can you...
That's a very good point, Hannah.
It's how can we sit
unrealistic ideals and they don't even exist.
It's an unrealistic... We have spoken about unrealistic ideals since like the bloody 90s, you know. And
I mean,
then
we
now,
grew up at an era as well where they used to put
Yeah.
pictures of like Jessica Simpson on the front page of a magazine, and she'd maybe put on £1 and they'd be like, Jessica Simpson, fat.
when I watch Bridget Jones now and then she's like, I'm obese, I'm like, are you
Her
fucking
legs are like
kidding?
this big.
I'm like, this girl is not big at all. Like, it's crazy.
know.
Which is why I love like watching women really like embrace their bodies online and, you know, showcase, you know, mid-size and plus size. And I think, you know, everyone is
I love
beautiful.
that mid-size is a thing now as well.
I can't believe that we ever thought that mid-size was ever different. You know, I've always been mid-size. So it's kind of like, I don't know, you know, people have always glamorized skinny and big tits and all that jazz. And it's like, actually, we're just women and we're all shaped differently and we're all built differently. I'm broader than most of my friends.
Yeah.
I don't sit and think I'm a rugby player, although my dad did say I had a great physique for rugby. don't want to brag. But you know, that I think AI it can be a little bit scary. I think used in the right way, it could be really impactful. I think subscription platforms, we've always talked about it on a rise, but I don't think it's sensible to completely subscriptionize every talent. But I think, you know, if they had a podcast and they then develop something off the back of it, you know, such as Patreon, I think things like that will expand out. I think we're going to see a new app come out at some point and we're going to see the rise of that. Because it always happens every, 5-10 years.
Do you remember Clubhouse?
I hated Clubhouse.
I loved Clubhouse.
Yeah, you know what? People in your job role love Clubhouse.
I loved it.
It's all chatty and stuff. Like for me,
it's only chatty.
it's only, whereas I like visuals. I like videos.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
Reels, and I tried so hard to get into it.
I got to like 20,000 followers in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, but you're good at that. Like, you're chatty. You're good.
I'm pretty chatty.
and you're very well media trained, to be honest.
I tell self-taught.
Yeah, but you know, you just know
100%.
what not to say.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure about that. I just fucking say it.
Just say it and just
Hope for
unapologetic
the
yourself.
best. Yeah.
I like the one where everyone used to go on it during COVID, where you'd like video yourself and then people would join your room.
Not
Not
Be
Be Real.
No.
I didn't mind Be Real, but I like the one where it was
House party.
House party. I loved House. And you end up with like Dappy on it.
Yeah.
And stuff like joining your combo. You'd be like, if you left it unlocked for like an hour, people jump in and out.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the funniest app. And I used to be so bored that I'd just be like, and just wait and see who joined.
You joined up. That's
It was
so
funny.
Dappy's ex-girlfriend went to primary school with me.
Oh, really?
His baby mama. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Catherine. Yeah. I always thought that was weird because I remember she used to bring her rabbits into school for like show and tell. And I'm like, oh, you had children with Dappy. Interesting.
I love that. I love that she had rabbits as well.
Yeah.
I
She
had
was really
rabbits.
sweet. Yeah. Anywho, you had rabbits.
Yeah.
I feel like you're an animal girl, aren't you?
T-Rex and Peter.
Oh, I love the names of your animals.
Yeah.
T-Rex, Peter and Cash Money Bitches.
Peter had quite a traumatic death, actually. He accidentally escaped and got eaten by foxes quite quickly. So
I feel like this is very on brand for a Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit really did struggle. Peter Rabbit was my rabbit too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
T-Rex lived.
R.I.P. What's next for HLD?
So we are launching a new division soon. I can't wait yet because we haven't launched it and it comes out next week. But it's really exciting. It's something we have been working behind the scenes for a little while. It's I don't think people expect it from us, especially how we're developing out. And obviously we're entering different territories. We've kind of been working in Dubai and working with like US creators for a little while. So I think we're just going to strengthen out those divisions. I think it's an exciting time for us. We're hiring at the moment still. We're hiring a new talent manager soon.
Is it hard to find good talent managers? Like, what do you look for in a talent manager?
I look for people who are passionate, like who I can see is as passionate about the role as I am. I think, passionate about talking about, you can tell quickly about how they talk about talent. When people have interviews with us, I hate people who only talk about the most obvious talent that we have on our roster. Like, I want people to talk about some of our more interesting talent in terms of they're a bit more niched out in terms of their specialities. So maybe it's food, fitness. I think it's so easy to go like, oh, I think that person should do that. And it's like, well, yeah, of course that's the next progression. Like, that's how we've taken it. I also like people who have got personal lives. I like the idea of someone having a bit more of a work-life balance.
They need to be in the culture probably also as well to be able to like see where they could go.
Yeah, also people who've built up their own network, It's like I really promote it in my office, like get on LinkedIn, like promote the work you're doing, promote your own personal brand because you're a representation of HLD, but also you're a representation of yourself as a talent manager. And I think it's really important because, me having the best of the best makes us the best of the best. And that is just how it is. The best things I ever did was hire incredible staff. My team are incredible.
You just said there you're really encouraging of people building their personal brand on LinkedIn. I think there are so many companies that are the opposite of that. Why do you think? Well, because they're worried that if hypothetically your team are posting content on LinkedIn that they'll get poached by a competitor.
Listen, that has happened. Don't get me wrong. And these talent managers think I don't know who they are. I do. And I think I think if you look at it a different way, you go, well, that's such a credit to the fact that, they're doing a great job and they think what you're doing is a great job. So you can look at it a different way. And you hope that you're doing a good enough job that your staff wouldn't be persuaded. Yeah. And you hope that they would come and speak to you and maybe you can, kind of discuss it. But I think that's why it's important to make sure, listen to your staff and keep them happy. And listen, you're not going to make everyone happy. It's just how life is. All you can do is try your best and do everything you can. But you shouldn't skink yourself to do it either. I think and the only thing I think LinkedIn is quite guilty of is they always talk about that it's the same way of influencers. There is no difference for me, like the linked influencer of talking about, we offer these benefits. Cool. Okay, that's amazing. But what are the hardships that you've had building to that point? Or how did you get to that point where you now have all this money to be able to do that? I think it's the same thing, the same culture that LinkedIn tears down influencers for. They are the exact same, which
they're just corporate.
It's a corporate setting. It is. I say LinkedIn is Facebook for professionals.
Yeah, basically. It is. I think that's one of the reasons why I was managed to grow really fast on it though, is because I don't do that. I try not to anyway.
Which I quite like.
Yeah, just fucking post it. I've got a big neon sign on my office that says just fucking post it. Yeah. It's my favorite thing.
I love that.
Yeah, but I think that's, to your point as well, you are who you are. Talent are going to like it or they're not. People are going to like it or they're not. Your team are going to like it or they're not. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time, particularly online and in real life too, in friendships and relationships and whatever. And I'm sure we've both experienced that, pleasing other people. They're not going to be there when you're 95.
Yeah, but also showing off. And I always say to anyone who talks about money doesn't have it. That's what my parents always
the loudest
taught me.
person in the room is usually the brokest.
People sitting there going da, 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 and they.
It's Jay-Z.
I used to always. Is that what Jay-Z?
I think so.
Jay-Z.
The loudest person in the room is usually the brokest.
But and I used to really get like, oh my God, I am so not successful. And now I don't feel like that. And, people who, even down to talent, I don't think talent should necessarily speak about their fees in a certain setting because it could really upset somebody else. And I think, I do understand that I think there's two arguments to every side. You should have that transparency and that's how the industry can kind of do you over. But at the same time, it depends how you're saying it. I think if you're saying to someone, heads up, I got this fee, but I do
that with some founders, right? So I have a couple of friends, as you know, we're all founders, and they will call me up being like, by the way, how much do you charge for your speaking fee? And I'll be like, well, first I charge this, now I charge that, and then I charge this, now I charge that. If I were you, I'd go here. Yeah. that, I think that is really cool because it's co-sharing information to make sure that we all get good out of it. Charlotte at 760 is really good at promoting basically banding for creators to know what they should be charging. Based on their followings, based on their engagement rates, whatever. And I think that's really good because it's encouraging the sharing of information amongst creators as opposed to kicking it back the other way, which is I got paid this much. Do you know what I mean? It means that we all win because there's more than enough business for everyone.
I know, but that's why it's dangerous where you see obviously Grace Beverley just launched that platform, which is AI, and it is essentially cutting out talent managers. The interesting thing for me is she actually does have a talent manager, and I don't think one size fits all. I think it almost belittles the whole role of what a talent manager does. We are not just someone who creates deals and we take 20%. That's just not how it works. There is so much more to it. It takes such a long time to build a strategy. It takes such
and also identify the opportunities.
You're the emotional support system. You are also the
trust.
It's absolutely everything. And people take their jobs really seriously. So when I saw that, I was a bit disappointed. But I understand that it actually, for smaller creators, I think something like that is probably needed because I do think some brands can take the piss out of people. But I do, when I saw that, I thought you couldn't sit there and say someone with 2 million followers who's also massive on TV, that would fit that mold for. So I think, we just have, like I said, we have to be careful with AI. It could be a dangerous thing and it could put smaller agencies out of business who focus on micro-influencers. And I feel really passionate about that side and being able to grow this economy. And a part of that is, these smaller agencies who are able to cater to a different industry, or what are they called? What are the ones who are called who have the products and they're not influencers but they sell products and then they. Oh, I see people do it all the time.
What, like online?
Yeah, they create content and then brands will like promote it everywhere and.
UGC creators.
UGC creators.
Yeah.
I saw an agency for the first time ever doing UGC creators, and I thought, what a fabulous idea!
Yeah.
And it's such a different way, but obviously, then AI could take that out as well.
Yeah.
So it's
AI is a funny thing, because we've obviously got the Get Clout product, which is a platform which uses generative AI to produce prompts for people based on whatever they want to be known for, right? So you know what to say on your content. We won't write the content for you, but it will tell you what to post about. So if you're trying to attract, like, for example, other founders into your network for the podcast or like for your network or whatever, we would go, cool, right, Hannah, well then what was the roughest month you've ever had in business and what did it teach you? And that's the kind of stuff that will feed you so that you can then post about it yourself. And so for me, that's really positive because it means you never run out of ideas of what to say and da-da-da. But on the other side, I feel like everyone now, which I actually think is a huge opportunity, everyone now uses ChatGPT to produce content. I can scroll through LinkedIn on any given day and about 7 out of the 10 posts I see will all be ChatGPT, and you can tell that it's ChatGPT because even when ChatGPT has like the humanized add-on to it, it still writes in a way that doesn't quite understand the conversational kind of colloquialism that you and I will have right now. Like it just doesn't, like, for example, I just started it, like it just doesn't. It's not going to start sentences like it just doesn't. It would start it in a, and so it doesn't feel like, it feels more forced and more formal. And I think that poses both a threat and an opportunity to my industry and probably yours too, in that I'm going to stand out because my stuff is written by me. So I can control the narrative. I can control how I'm projecting myself onto people and the perception that people have of me. And so I will automatically look different, sound different, be different, whatever, than all the people that are using ChatGPT because they're all relying on a robot, whereas I'm relying on my lived experience and my brain. And I wonder whether, to your point about Grace Beverley and the app, forgive me, I don't know the name of the app, but that she's launched, that is both a threat and an opportunity, right? That's a threat to all these niche, smaller, creator, talent management agencies and influencer agencies because that's kind of cutting them out of the deal, right? But then is it not a huge opportunity as well? Could they not do something similar? But like Grace Beverley is probably a bad case study for a product like that because she has 2 million followers and she's got there through doing it organically and she's got there through having talent management.
Yeah, I think it's, because there's also a different side to the ChatGPT point of if you have dyslexia and you naturally can't, post in a way that you would like to, something like ChatGPT is an amazing, resource. Everything can be helpful, but there's always like, there's like good side and bad side.
Oh, internet. Like everything is good and bad. Like it has never been easier to start a business, never been easier to connect with people, never been easier to get a date, never been easier to whatever. But it's also never been harder to run a business, grow a business, never been harder to connect with people because we never meet in real life, never been harder to find the love of your life because like it's like literally, like
soon you have AI dating apps, I'm surprised that hasn't come out.
Well, I think, doesn't Hinge have like an AI tool prompt thing?
I don't know, I've never been on that. I have to ask some of my
as
team.
a brand strategist, I will be more than happy to sort you out. I have my friend, right? One of the concepts that I want to do for our TikTok right now is doing like going through people's Hinge profiles and Raya profiles and like giving them advice on how they could do it.
From it's Raya, you get banned for doing stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, because you're not the whole point of Raya.
Because you can't show it.
You can't show it. So I just saved you being banned if you ever need it again.
I thought Raya was like a total waste of time, but that's where I met. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a name.
Yeah.
He's got a name.
He's probably going to hate that I've said that online. Anyway, but Hinge, I did my friend's Hinge profile recently and she was just not getting anything. And she got like 50 matches the following day. So I was like, onto something here. Did it for my other friend, same thing, other friends. So I'm like, got a good little playbook here.
That is pretty good. I wonder if you can then like... I could
sell that.
My friend came back from Australia.
Minimum 50 matches in 24 hours after working with me.
My friend just came back from Australia and she went on Hinge and I just found it quite fascinating, like the prompts and stuff.
Some of the stuff that people put up.
Creepy. But they have this thing where it's like a highlight reel of like the best people who get the most matches.
Yeah, and you have to send them a rose.
Yeah, crazy. But also
what?
Smart,
I'm not being
smart
funny.
for Hinge because you have to pay for more roses.
Correct.
But also, is it an ick if someone buys roses? Yes.
But a woman as well.
Yeah.
Like if you not to be like gender discriminatory, but as a woman, I would never send a man a rose. Sorry. So I'll be like, oh, you're really fit. But no, I don't know. Sorry. You're going to have to miss out on all this because I'm not sending you a rose.
If you're Prince Charming, unfortunately, fate will find us another way because I'm not sending you a rose.
I'm not sending you a rose.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's fair enough. But, you
need to buy me roses. That's not how this works.
A lot of my friends, are single and they do tell me the dating market's quite dire.
You know what? I think it goes back to mindset, right? When I was going on dates, there was not a single date that I went on where I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. But I was like, you're really nice and this has been really lovely and I've really enjoyed myself, right? And I think if you go into these things of like, I'm not looking for the love of my life. I'm looking for, do I like you enough to see you again? It takes all the pressure off it. And you end up with like friends. Like I've got loads of friends I went on a date with, but like didn't actually fancy and they didn't fancy me or whatever it might be, but we're like mates now.
They did fancy you, let's be honest.
I'm just saying.
Keep it humble though, yeah.
No, but you understand what I mean. Like I think we're all told to meet the one and like your better half and the love of your life, right?
I thought I'd be married at 25.
Well, I was, but
shit. Okay. Were you living the life?
Now I'm divorced. It's great. Life hacks. That's what my next book's going to be called. I Want to Divorce and Other Life Hacks.
I Want to Divorce and Other Life Hacks.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Life story. Anyway, but what I wanted to say was with the dating thing, I think we all put so much pressure on ourselves to find the person that's going to complete us, but actually one person can't complete you. No. What I would get from you is something that I would get different from Nick, what I would get different from my kids, what I would get different from my other best friend, what I get different from my mum, from my dad, from my aunt, from my uncle, whatever. There's a reason why they say it takes a village to raise a baby. What it should say is it takes a village to be happy. Yeah. Like you need to get your energy filled up in different places. You can't expect one person to make you happy. And I think a lot of people put a huge amount of pressure on the person they're with or want to be with to fill a void that they should be filling themselves. Yeah. This person came into my life when I was at my happiest. I was like, you know what? If I'm single for the rest of my life, I actually wouldn't hate that. Yeah. Because although I'm a little bit lonely and like I would love a partner, I love my life. Like if I want to go do something, I do it. This year I was like, I want to go do a skydive, fucking did it. I want to go on a solo holiday, fucking did it. I do whatever I want because I'm happy. And I think when you get to that spot is when someone comes because you're meeting together as opposed to trying to fill a hole that...
Yeah, but everyone forgets the reason everyone thinks this way is because we've been taught this way.
100%.
It's always been...
indoctrinated.
Yeah, and I think even when I hear people get upset about, if a woman says a man should pay for everything, I have a very different perspective on that, but I also sit and think, well, what they're saying wrong? Because my grandparents felt that way as well. So, we're taught and it's taken down the lines. It was taught to us from a young age that men were the breadwinners and, all that side. And I grew up in a different household where my mum, was the director of events council education. She had a high-powered job. And I think, it really depends on what you're taught the norm is. And I think now we're always breaking down these gender stereotypes and these norms, but you can't really blame people for feeling like a relationship, could do that side. I always said I wanted to buy a house on my own, and people used to think that's like it was selfish on my partner and it's selfish on me. I thought, well, why? Because, that's an achievement I want to personally achieve. It's nothing to do with if I've got a partner or not. I think a partner should only ever add to your life.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
It shouldn't be. I know some people who very much their whole life revolves around their partner. That's fine too, if that's what makes you happy. But just understand that there's other things that make you happy. Like having my friends is so important to me because if my life falls apart, they're going to still be there to pick me up. And a man might walk away and think, actually, I can't be asked to deal with your shit anymore, which would be fair enough.
But also what you get from your girlfriends is so different to what you would get from a relationship.
My God, I literally love a wine night with my friends. They're so funny.
My friends are the best people in the world. And I think that bond, and I know obviously I can only speak to this, and I'm sure it's the same for blokes as well, but as women, I'm sure we can only speak to it from our perspective. That bond that you have with your closest girlfriends as well is like cathartic. It's like having therapy, right? And I feel like we offload a lot of our life through communicating with one another. And that, to me, therefore, is so important that you have those people that you can do that with. And also, to your point earlier about them going, that's a bunch of bullshit, shut up. You need those people in your life. Otherwise, how do you live?
I couldn't have friends who are closed-minded though. That's the one thing I couldn't have. Yeah. Like anyone who literally just thinks like they're so stuck in their ways of like, no, this is just how it should be. I can't be around those people because I'm not that way. And I can't be asked to argue every 2 minutes. Because I will stand up for what I think is right. And I think people have to accept that I think as long as people are happy and it doesn't affect you, why the fuck does everyone have an opinion?
What's the Ricky Gervais thing? He says, I believe everyone has the right to believe whatever they want. And he said, and I have the right to believe that their beliefs are ridiculous.
I love that, though.
I know. I'm like, Ricky, you're my guy.
No, it's true,
Obsessed.
though. It's so true.
What are you doing for the rest of this year? You've got this new division coming out next week, which can you talk about? It's going to come out on Wednesday.
No, I can't because it doesn't come out next week. It comes out in before the end of the year. We haven't actually got a launch date.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm
it's
very
exciting.
excited.
It's exciting. And
Okay, so aside from the thing that you can't talk about, which is
Yeah.
now going to piss me off because I really want to know.
I'll tell you
What's
after.
What's next for you?
For me, I'm
Marathon?
very...
Marathon.
I don't want to do a marathon, but I think I might do another half marathon next year. I think it's really positive for me when I'm focused towards something physically.
Goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know, it sets me on the right path. And, you know, I'm just one of them pricks who likes to fucking sit there and go like, oh my God, I'm doing that. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I'm doing a half marathon.
But I think it gives you some, like, I think hobbies are really important. So Lucy Aylin, who's the founder of Never Fully Dressed, was on the podcast last week. And she was saying that she spends just as much time and energy focusing on her own hobbies as she does on the business because it helps her be creative in the business and helps her do better in the business because she's working on shit that she's not trying to monetize.
I don't think mine's an equal amount, but I definitely, my mornings are like my sanctity. Like, that's why I like waking up really early. And I used to think people who woke up at stupid o'clock in the morning were stupid, but actually no, it's like there's no noise outside. When I
No
go
one's
for a
trying to contact you.
6 a.m. run, my phone is dead. I can literally just run, or I can go to the gym, like Pilates, or I can do whatever. And I think that for me, I have found is my peace place. I would be so pissed off if someone messaged me or started calling me at 6 a.m. and it doesn't happen. If it did, I would know that something's fucking gone wrong. And I'm like, this sounds like a terrible day.
Crisis management hand comes out.
There's some really exciting things happening. My problem with my job is I'm in NDAs left, right, and centre, so I can't say. But Grace is doing some very exciting things this year. Well, all of our talent are. You know, they're doing some incredible things, and you know, I'm really excited to talk about them at the time. You know, we've got Amy Charlize. She's only 17. She's doing some huge projects, and yeah, it's an exciting time at the agency, and we're expanding, we're building, and yeah, I'm really excited. I've never felt more passionate, and like being able to really launch this extra division, which I'm hoping will really set us apart. And you know, we came in strong this year.
I think you fucking nailed it from what I can see from the outside. Like, honestly, like watching you is like, so I say this to you all the time, but like you're such an inspiration, I think, from your leadership, but also like running a business and like just being a generally amazing human. So thank you so much for coming back.
No, thanks for having me. And honestly, everything you just said, I feel the exact same about you. I think you're incredible. And don't ever forget it. Even the hard days, trust me. My favourite quote I live by, and this I have it around, well, I have two, but this too shall pass is the thing I live by. Anytime my life feels like it's falling apart, I just think in a week's time this might not matter. And that's what I say to my clients too. If something negative comes out in the press, I'm like, this too shall pass. This is just a moment. And if you don't think you're going to remember it in a year's time, let's not think about it anymore. And I think that's how I try and live my life. And my other quote that I love is, I believe ordinary people can choose to be extraordinary. And that's how I like to think of myself. Every day I wake up and I had this custom made for my wall. And I look at it and I go, right, today I choose to be extraordinary. And it's like, it's always why I just feel like I try and be kind to everyone, because I think one day I might need someone to be kind to me if I'm having a hard day. Give out what you want back.
I love that so much. I love that so much, Han. Thank you so much for being on the Branded Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode. I absolutely love doing these podcasts, and I would be able to reach a hell of a lot more people if you like and subscribe. So thank you to all of you who have already liked and subscribed. And if you haven't, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review so we can reach more people.